The following original Link TV program was created by Culture Project and produced for broadcast by Link TV. To learn more, visit linktv.org/blueprint.
When the Abu Ghraib photos were released, the military assigned General Antonio Taguba to investigate the Abu Ghraib scandal. And this next acted piece is adapted from an article from June 2007 by Seymour Hersh, and it is General Taguba.
Somewhere around May 2004, I was urgently summoned to meet with Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld for the first time in my life. And, Rumsfeld and his senior staff were testifying the next day about abuses in Abu Ghraib because the previous week, the first revelations had surfaced, and the Bush team, in response, insisted that only a few low-ranking soldiers were involved and that America didn't torture prisoners. Well, I'd begun the Army's inquiry in January, and I filed my reports by March, and in it I found numerous incidents of sadistic, blatant, and wanton criminal abuse inflicted on several detainees. Systemic and illegal abuse. And I know an assignment like this is only going to cause damage to my career. But I wasn't prepared for the greeting that I got from Secretary Rumsfeld that day. Here comes that famous General Taguba, the Taguba Report. And everybody was there, Wolfowitz, there's Rumsfeld's deputy Cambone, and I really thought they wanted to know. I assumed that they wanted to know, but I was ignorant. Rumsfeld says to me, "Here I am just as Secretary of Defense, and we haven't seen a copy of your report. I haven't seen the photographs, and I have to testify to Congress tomorrow and talk about this." And Rumsfeld was obviously in denial because I'd submitted more than a dozen copies of my report to the Pentagon. In front of Congress the next day, he claims, to have had no idea the extent of the abuse. Well, I was appalled. I was appalled because Rumsfeld's got a mind like a steel trap, so there's no way that he's suffering from CRS, can't remember shit, okay? No, he was trying to acquit himself. And from what I know, troops just don't take it upon themselves to initiate what they did, not without any form of knowledge of higher-ups. But, my orders were clear. They were clear. Only investigate the MPs at Abu Ghraib and not those above them in the chain of command. Now, these MPs, they're not that creative. No. Somebody was giving them guidance. But I understand these things. I come from a poor family. I had to work hard. I was always signed the shoes on Saturday morning for church and wash the car on Saturday for church, and above all, integrity on how you lived your life and practiced your religion. And I can talk to you about discrimination. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about being refused to be served in a restaurant in public. Let's talk about being made to do things twice and having to pay for my 3 master's degrees because the Army didn't think I was smart enough. But so what? Just work your ass off. So what? In my case, the hard work paid off. But I got a different message from General John Abu Ghraib. A few weeks after my report became public, we were in Kuwait together in the back of his Mercedes sedan with his interpreter, and he leans over to me and issues a quiet warning. "You and your report are going to be investigated." I wasn't angry. I was disappointed. Disappointed because he'd say that to me. I've been in the Army now, 32 years, and this is the first time that I thought I was in the Mafia. What can I say? I was completely overwhelmed by the scale of wrongdoing in Iraq. These were people who were taken off the streets. They were teenagers put in jail, old men and women, and I kept on asking the officers I interviewed, I kept asking them, "You knew what was going on, why didn't you do something to stop it? You knew what was going on, why didn't you do something to stop it?" Because in August 2003, the Pentagon had ordered Major General Jeffrey Miller, the commander at Guantanamo, over to Iraq. And the core of Miller's recommendations that the military police at Abu Ghraib should become part of the interrogation process. Well, now Miller's approach isn't consistent with the Army doctrine. And my report cited testimony that interrogators and intelligence personnel were encouraging the abuse of detainees. Now, loosen this guy up for me, will you? Yeah, go ahead. Make sure he has a bad night, okay? And that's the reason that I wasn't in their camp, because I kept on contradicting them. I mean, I was going to lie to the committee. I mean, I knew I was already in the losing proposition. If I lie, I lose. And if I tell the truth, I lose. So, June 2004, I was scheduled to rotate to the 3rd Army's headquarters at Fort McPherson, Georgia. But suddenly, I was ordered back to the Pentagon instead, to work in the office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Reserve Affairs. That's right, a lateral assignment. I mean, I wasn't going to quibble. No, I mean, if you're going to do that to me, well, okay, we all serve at the pleasure of the president. Then later in 2004, I ran into Rumsfeld and his senior press aide, Larry DeRita, in the Pentagon Athletic Center. I was tying my shoes, and Rumsfeld's putting his clothes into his locker when Rumsfeld turns to me and says, "Hello, General." But DeRita, who was standing next to him, says to me, "See what you started, General? You see what you started?" Well, DeRita is now a Bank of America official. Then in January 2006, I get a call from General Richard Cody, the Army's Vice Chief of Staff. "This is your vice. I need you to retire by January 2007. No pleasantries were exchanged, no reasons offered, and I've known this guy for years. I mean, I know they always shoot the messenger, but to be accused of being overzealous and disloyal, well, I don't know, that just cuts deep into me. Because there's no doubt in my mind, there's no doubt that the stuff was gravitating upward and that the president knew about it. And I know my peers in the Army are going to be mad at me. They're going to be mad at me for speaking out, but the fact is, we violated the laws of land warfare in Abu Ghraib. We violated the tenets of the Geneva Convention. We violated our own principles. We violated the core of our military values. Stress in combat is not an excuse. And I believe even today that those civilian and military leaders responsible should be held accountable.
This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs. Programs that connect you to the world.